Top Med Talk.
Well, hello and welcome to Top Med Talk here at Anesthesiology 2025. It's the annual meeting of the American Society of Anesthesiologists. I'm Desiree, Chappell, your host and co-editor-in-chief, and joining me today as my co-host is Professor Emeritus, or just, I said this earlier, overall cool guy, Saul Aaron.
I like the overall cool guy best. Good to be back. Always good.
We missed you last year. But
I was in a serious rehab with a serious ankle fracture.
But we have great conversations here at ASA, Saul, don't we?
We do. And I was always listening.
So today we wanted to catch up with one of our platinum sponsors who really keep Top Med Talk free and open to the world globally. So anyone, no matter where you are, can be listening to this. You don't have to pay for it, and you can get top of the line medical perioperative education. Now, GE has been with us for a while. We've had wonderful conversations with them over the years. So we were able to catch up with some of the leaders there at GE Healthcare to talk about a very special day. First of all, we have Brandon Henak. Brandon, we've talked to you before. I think it was at the ESAIC meeting in Milan several years ago. But for our listeners, why don't you reintroduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Henak. I lead product management for our anesthesia business and look across kind of surgical and procedural care workflows to develop new solutions, make workflows easier. I'm super excited to be here. Before, it was in the context of launching our continuous monitoring solution, our mobile wireless wearables in Milan. And now it's some exciting launches in our anesthesia business.
Yeah, that's great. Well, before we get there, so before we shoot the confetti off here too, I know that was earlier in your booth, I want to introduce JW Beard. JW, you've been with us here on Top Med Talk many times, a fan favorite, but also one of my colleagues in the Anesthesia Patient Safety Foundation Board. JW, it's wonderful to have you back.
Well, thanks for having me, Desiree and Saul. It's a pleasure to meet you. So I'm an anesthesiologist and I'm the chief medical officer of one of the GE Healthcare businesses called Patient Care Solutions that includes anesthesia delivery, where Brandon's one of the leaders, patient monitoring, diagnostic cardiology, maternal infant care, and then digital solutions. So there are many of the technologies and products that your listeners would be familiar with just walking from care area to care area within a hospital. And it's a big business that makes a difference for patients and clinicians. And Brandon and I are really privileged to be able to work with our colleagues.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I always say there are a lot of products that you and other companies have in our hospitals that we do know for sure. But then there's other things kind of behind the scenes that run in the background that really keeps things moving for us. And we may not even know about what those are. So today is a big day for GE Healthcare. I know I've seen lots of press releases and all. We saw the confetti and heard the cheers earlier. Brandon, why don't you tell us why this is such a special day for GE Healthcare?
So we're super excited to launch our next generation premium anesthesia platform. It's a debut, right? Mm-hmm. So it is a 510K pending device, right? Mm-hmm. It's submitted with the FDA, but it's our new premium platform that's both tailored for today and built for tomorrow, right? Yeah. So we've listened intensely over the last number of years to our clinical partners to understand how we can make the experience of perioperative care better, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the things that we heard with specifically anesthesia delivery devices is, hey, make our workflow continuous, make it able to be delivered in new locations and new spaces, right? There's always new anesthetizing locations, and help us build out a standard platform across the business and then be ready for change. Change is happening so fast, right? So what we've done with this new platform, it's built on the same platform that our CareStation 650, 750, and now 850 is. There's a lot of shared components and technologies. So it's easier for service, for standardized interactions with the device and those types of things. It's compact and robust. So you can use it in all those new anesthetizing locations, but it's also got a lot of new capabilities that responds to the questions that we've had from clinicians. So one of the areas was, hey, there's an intense need to make sure that we can treat the smallest patients all the way up to the largest patients, right? So we have new capabilities from a ventilation standpoint. Our compact breathing system is extremely robust, but now we've added new capabilities to have lower tidal volumes, right? Down to 5 mils for the smallest of babies with pressure control ventilation, right? And we've added higher respiratory rates, things like that, that allow us to serve those specific needs that clinicians are asking.
Yeah, it really sounds like expanding the spectrum of what you can offer. JW, we know this is an anesthesia machine, essentially.
It is. And one of the, as I have challenged these guys over time, it's like, how do we improve upon what we already have in the market today? Uh-huh. Because anesthesia care, you take a healthy patient having a routine procedure, the safety levels, commercial aviation level.
Yeah.
Like, it is extremely safe. Complex patients having complex surgeries, there's going to be challenges there.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Behind all that safety is training, education, And there's also just the technology at the bedside.
Yeah.
And that's where the equipment that comes from GE Healthcare, for example, has been so reliable, so high quality, and so capable over time. It's how do we get better than that?
Yeah.
So enhances flexibility, enhances diversity of need, one-stop shop. You're not having to pick and choose for specialized situations. Sounds like this is, a device for all.
Yeah. I would just to add a couple of, just to build off what Brandon said on the new machine, how does it get an expanded list of capabilities where it does serve all patients who could potentially need anesthesia care? There's some incremental advances here that are really meaningful. The ventilation capabilities, the connectivity of the machine, et cetera. One of the things I'm most excited about is where this machine can be, like what it can enable 5 years from now. It has the processing power, it has the memory, it has the connectivity to potentially expand with digital clinical decision support algorithms. The things that are in the literature today could find a home on the machine in the future. Ready for the
AI is the buzzword that, we're all either excited about or fearful of. Applications to those sort of mountains of substrate of data to be integrated into the system going forward.
And there's some of the listeners I know are a little bit like me and get into the technical pieces, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of buzz around this, around the connectivity, the integration, the future AI, those capabilities, right? But what JW is speaking about is what we've invested heavily in this new platform, the compute architecture. So it's a dual compute architecture in this device. You don't see it. When you walk up to the booth, you see actually our innovative new digital vaporizers, right? You see a sexy new big screen, right? That you can put a lot of data on, a lot of information on, right? But inside the device is two compute architectures. One that makes sure that the therapy delivered to the patient is consistent, constant, high quality. And then another one that is dedicated to the ins and outs of data flowing to the device and back out of the device, right? And Ed is new to the industry, new to the space, and it's designed to allow for future capabilities in the device that JW is talking about, right? So a lot of the other devices that are out there are only just sending out data out to the EMR, right? By having that dual compute architecture, now we can have the robustness to be able to process data coming in, better deliver data going out, and move towards integrating more devices in the future, right? I talked about surgical and procedural care and about better perioperative view and workflows. If you don't have that dedicated architecture, it's very hard to interact with all those devices. And that's why we're making the investment with this new platform to make it really ready for those next 5 to 10 years, right? Because everything is changing fast.
Absolutely.
Right?
So fast you can barely keep up with
day to day. You need a platform that it's not, you don't have to buy a new device every time something.
And what remains true and will always remain true is physiology is complex and dynamic. And to be able to sort of move with that at the speed of clinical need is special.
I was going to add one more thing too. When I was talking about how it's tailored for today, one of the things that we heard a lot from clinicians is workflow can sometimes be overlooked about exciting new clinical features, AI, things like that, right? But over and over again, we heard, hey, don't interrupt the workflow of care delivery for some of the, what can sometimes be considered mundane things, filling a vaporizer, right? Making sure that you're timing things, that kind of thing, right? So we've actually, in this device, got a new innovative vaporization system called Serenity that basically allows for you to have 2 inline, fully contained vaporizers. They've got a dual structure inside those vaporizers that basically allows you to fill the vaporizer on the fly. Most other devices, you have to pause therapy.
Turn everything off.
Get the slow down. And sometimes you actually, none of the clinicians here do this, but in some cases, you can forget to turn it back on.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so we don't want to interrupt the workflow. We want to make sure that it's on there. And what this new device has is a display on the front that gives you information about what you're delivering, the concentrations and that kind of thing. But it also does your calculation, right? 30 minutes to empty, 15 minutes to empty, that kind of thing. So you know exactly when you need to refill it.
Like a Tesla telling you need to stop at a charging station right now.
Yeah.
Yes. And what I like about this vaporizer display, maybe the most, is that it provides this immediate feedback on time to empty.
Yes.
And to me, it's another option for the clinician to be incentivized to lower the flows. There's so many reasons to do it, but with this vaporizer, if you go from like a liter down to 0.5, you go from 2 liters down to 0.5, you can see your time to empty go from 40 minutes to to like 4 hours.
Wow.
And so it's just another incentive. It's just another tool for that clinician to kind of strategize about how to best deliver that anesthetic.
Really good, meaningful data. I mean, that's a meaningful data point for us.
Yep.
Absolutely. JW, we're going to close here in just a couple minutes, but we had a conversation last year at the World Congress of Anesthesiologists, and it was a really fascinating technology panel, and we were talking about the future. And one of the things that really sticks out to me, what you said, is the importance of workflow process, asking and getting the voice of the customers and really understanding what our needs are, because so much is built without really that much input from true frontline clinicians, and thinking about like human factors and things like that. I love that piece, but it also speaks to me as more patient safety, because when it works for us, it means it's safer for the patient because we're not having to stop the anesthetic gas. Talk to me a little bit more about how that was in this process, how you brought the voice in of our...
I think predating my time at GE Healthcare, there are tons of clinician voices about how to optimize anesthesia delivery. And millions of anesthetics delivered with this equipment, and all the observations that come in through our kind of clinician partners about their experiences, even things that come in through global regulatory complaint systems that may just reflect an observation at the bedside that was unexpected. All those things are incorporated as we're trying to design something. And in human factors, we want to make it as easy as possible to do the right thing and make it very, very difficult to do the wrong thing. The way the displays are designed, the way the vaporizers fill, all these different, like just small steps in workflow are meaningful. They contribute to efficiency. They reduce the number of use errors and distractions that could take place. So it's input from global sources of data. It's a lot of input from a weekend like this, of people walking up for the first time they see something and they're like, well, I don't like this, or I do really like that.
I would say that, JW's being a little bit humble too here. He talks about like before his time, but since he's been with the team, it's brought a huge amount of clinical input, a huge network to help us go through some of those discussions, right? We have clinical advisory boards. We have tech suites here that we're running double-digit interviews all weekend nonstop, right? To get that insight, right? And I think that one example of it, right, is one of the things we hear over and over again is the shortage of anesthesiologists, the coming kind of cliff of that talent. How do we manage that with care teams? And then as care teams increase, how do we better understand what's going on with the supervisor, when I'm supervising a set of CRNAs or residents or those types of things, right? That's one of the things we heard loud and clear from a lot of our clinical advisory boards. And so that the other thing that you can see on our booth as well that was a launch this year is our digital solutions that go along with our devices. So to prove out the point that we made about integration and data flows, we have high fidelity integration of data from our patient monitors and our anesthesia machines into those supervisory dashboards in our Care Station Insights Live solution. That lets you see that and then make sure that you know which room you need to be in, where you need to respond, how you need to interact. So we have a new version of that, cloud-based, that's being launched at this show as well.
That's fantastic. More information, again, using it in a meaningful way. So important. So it is more than just an anesthesia machine.
Absolutely.
The Care Station. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. If someone wants to find out more about the Care Station or anything more about GE Healthcare, I know I will say that our group actually went up to GE Healthcare and got to look at the suite of products that you had and kind of say, that's the one I want. So we got to pick up. Tell us how we get more information and interface with you guys.
Absolutely. Online, you'll start to see more now that we have the press release out. Obviously, it is 510K pending.
Right.
There's going to be information flowing as we can do so based on the regulatory processes, right? Yeah. Definitely reach out to the commercial teams, right? Yeah. I know many of your listeners have commercial teams or service teams that they work closely with. They can help route information to us and make sure that we provide that information as we go.
Yeah.
But we're super excited about it and want to share everything we can.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you for listening to Top Med Talk. You can find out more information at topmedtalk.com. You can find us on your favorite podcatcher. We're on social, whatever your platform of choice is. Check us out. We're there. If you find us, give us a thumbs up, give us a 5-star rating, make some comments. We'd love to hear more about what you want to hear here at Top Med Talk. Again, thank you to GE Healthcare for the support to keep Top Med Talk free and open to the world.
Yeah, that's it. And it's free because we have sponsors that enable us to make it free.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to the American Society of Anesthesiologists. All right, everyone, have a great day.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Top Med Talk. Thanks for downloading Top Med Talk. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on YouTube and, of course, on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Also, it's important to remember that Top Med Talk is the broadcasting arm of EPPOM, evidence-based perioperative medicine. We'd love you to find out more about that, and the way to do that is edpom.org. Check out our website and find out about some of the incredible conferences we're going to be arranging across the year. edpom.org.